Thank you. Thank you, dear friends. I participate with joy in these first meetings of ICLA, International Civil Liberties Alliance, which explicitly aims to defend the violation of human rights connatural to the application of the Sharia, the Islamic law. I am personally a victim of Sharia law for being sentenced to death and repeatedly threatened by Islamic extremists for having defended the non-negotiable values of the sanctity of life for everyone, including Israelis, Jews, Christians, infidels and apostates, the equal dignity between men and women, the freedom of religious choice, including that of a Muslim to convert to another religion or belief without being automatically sentenced to death for apostasy. This condemnation and threats were received since I was a Muslim, and I explicitly condemned Islamic terrorism, and later after my conversion to Christianity in 2008. But I am especially proud to promote head high and with a straight back the cause of life, dignity and freedom for all, without exception, overcoming fear. In 2005, I wrote a book called precisely Overcoming Fear, where I highlighted that fear is the most powerful weapon used by Islamic terrorists to submit ourselves to their will. In this regard, I love to quote a very profound reflection made by Judge Paolo Borsellino, killed by the mafia, who said, "It's good to die for a cause you believe in. Those who believe only die once. Those who does not believe dies every day. It's no doubt that the interior death that is consumed when we give up our dignity and our freedom is the worst of death, because we eventually cease to be ourselves. We submit ourselves for fear to the mercy of others, only to just survive physically, regardless of the loss of our values, the collapse of our civilization, the handing our children and our grandchildren thrown to the Islamic barbarism. As a matter of fact, we submit to the terrorism of the cat tongue that kills us inside, forcing us to not say or to do nothing that might offend the sensitivities of Muslims, which is even worse than the terrorism of the cutthroat that deprives us once and for all of our lives. I have been Muslim for 56 years, and for 56 years I believed in non-negotiable values to life, dignity and freedom, pursuing the illusion that Islam could be compatible with non-negotiable values. Facing the threats and death sentences, I had to acknowledge that Muslims as people can be moderate, but Islam as a religion is by no means moderate. Because what is written in the Quran What Muhammad said and done are in stark contrast to fundamental human rights. Now we are in a crucial phase of our contemporary history. At stake there is our right to be fully ourselves here at home. The West, Europe in particular, suffer from one side of a structural crisis of finance and the economy tied to materialistic and consumerist ideology, and secondly, a crisis of values and identity caused by the ideology of relativism that leads us to no longer have the certainty of who we are and the very notion of trust. We are fragile inside. We introduce ourselves as we were a Westland, and we end up being perceived by Muslims as a land of conquest. We should promote together the rescue of every single nation state, the whole of Europe and the West, recovering the certainty of our Judeo-Christian roots, our non-negotiable values to life, dignity and freedom, our secular liberal civilization. We need to become strong in order to ensure that everyone, without exception, including Muslims who voluntarily choose to share our physical space, they do so in full compliance with the rules of civility that substantiate the rights and duties in the acceptance of our laws, adherence to the non-negotiable values, through participation in terms of work to build a better society. Our challenge is to free ourselves both from the trap of relativism, which lead us to uncritically legitimize Islam as a religion, as a condition to respect Muslims as people, both from the trap of racism that lead us to condemn Muslims as people indiscriminately as a result our condemnation of Islam as a religion. We must have clarity and courage to distinguish between error and wanderer, and paraphrasing Gandhi, to support hands-free, I love Muslim, I hate Islam. We must have the courage to go to the root of the problem, which now allows the spread like wildfire of mosques, Islamic schools, charities and financial Islamic Shariatic schools, who turned some districts in Europe in Islamic citadels, which increases the number of women who are convinced or are forced to wear a closed cage that imprisons their body, which forces us to impose a gag and not telling the truth because we are afraid of Muslims. We must have the courage to say that Italy, France, Britain, Belgium, the Netherlands, Europe, the United States, the West is our common home, and we are not a wasteland and do not want to turn ourselves into a land of conquest. The main battle will be fought in our house between those who, like us, believe in the non-negotiable values and is proud of our civilization, and who oppose the practice, relativism, do-godism, legal subjectivism, the Islamically correct. We create a broad front in Europe and in the West, those who have faith in the non-negotiable values and are proud of our secular and liberal civilization, to counter the proponents of the murder-suicide of our civilization and our humanity. But we have to hurry up. On the other side of the Mediterranean, Muslims are monopolizing powers, thanks to our naivety, foolishness and ideological complicity. Now more than ever, Muslims feel strong and ready to deliver the coup de grace to this crisis in the West, deeply and extremely fragile. We do not resign, we do not give up, we do not submit ourselves. We will tackle this historic challenge head high and with our back straight, and we will win.